Up, guys? Welcome back to Think Shank. It is 5 a.m. and we are jumping right into it, and my eyes are so fucking dry. I had to put drops in. Need to hydrate first thing every morning. Don't forget it. We are jumping in after the pretty incredible Game 6 between the Nuggets and the Clippers. We are primed with very lofty expectations given the rest of the preceding series. This was a great one as well, even though a lot of it felt extremely overpowering on the Clippers' behalf. Let's go ahead and dive into some game trends and talk. So out of the gate, I really liked Denver's energy. You always have to be looking at the road team first, suffocating the Clippers' perimeter specifically so well that LA ends up starting 1 for 9 from 3 and really focusing on preventing its two-headed snakes as well as its other role guys to not get in rhythm from 3 early. I say other role guys, I do not mean Chris Dunn. That dude is going to be so radioactively open that he is unfortunately getting played off of the floor. That was the key, as usual, for the Nuggets to really attack on the defensive end, the other main guys it's targeting. They end up going 4 for 22 from 3 in the first half. It is still only a 1-point game. At halftime, it felt very much like a gridlock, gritty type of playoff game. We saw it last night with Minnesota. Even though they were getting quality looks, it is by no stretch a guarantee at this stage of the season that they are even going to go in. The tide completely changes in the third quarter with what was probably the Clippers' best front to back quarter of the series. They end up finishing 62% field goals, 18 points in the paint to just 6 for Denver, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and because of the amount of dribble penetration they were getting into the paint, it led to better quality threes. They go 4 for 9 in the quarter. With 2 minutes left in the third, the Clippers are at a plus 14 in possessions lead compared to Denver. That is 14 more attempts to even get shots up at goal, which is just going to effectively make it pretty difficult to actually compete with them. Going into the fourth quarter, they are carrying a 1-point lead into halftime. I'm going to double click into that third quarter when I talk about the Nuggets specifically. I've been saying it all series. It should still not be any kind of surprise, but the Clippers defense sparking its offense, it is the epitome of this team. 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, Denver commits its 13th turnover, and that to me is pretty indicative. You think about Denver, you think about a methodical, surgical, half-court executing machine, and giving up that many turnovers in the postseason is really one thing and one thing only. It's going to be the tenacity and game planning of its opponent, just like a previous champion would. In the fourth quarter, in virtually the last 5 minutes, Denver amalgamates a 15-5 run, really spoon-fed by the slow, milky possession spearheaded by James Harden, milking every single shot clock and then burping up super late contested looks that really weren't going in at a high clip, in very stark contrast to the way it had been probing and getting Denver's defense to shift, and on their heels, they turn very conservative. We've all watched March Madness. It's exactly what it sounds like. 2 turnovers and only have 4 assists in that fourth quarter. After a lightning quick 10 assist third quarter, they only have 4 in the fourth quarter, 1 turnover in the third and then 2 in the fourth. Usually I don't like to pin everything on one team really shooting themselves in the foot without acknowledging the other team. Yes, Denver's offense was doing a great job of capitalizing. One play in particular, shout out Jokic going coast to coast like a goddamn gazelle off of a defensive rebound and beating almost every single Clipper to get the great angle and kick it out to an Aaron Gordon 3. Those are the types of ways to capitalize, but ultimately the way that the Clippers were generating a lot of their looks was locking in defensively and using that juice to drive, penetrate earlier in that shot clock and get Jokic off balance near the rim and getting quality looks that way. Again, they don't really shoot well from three. It was a lot of attacking Jokic and the rim. Jumping into the LA Clippers specifically, it was a star-studded effort on offense. We have to start with Harden's resurrection. 3 step-backs in this game in vintage fashion over Christian Brown, at least 2 of them. Even more telling to me, he was actually getting blow-bys, which I don't know if I've seen since 2020, 2021. I don't even know. He was taking Jamal Murray off of the dribble and getting into the short mid-range, manufacturing his own advantage creation. And as every single person is aware, if Harden is able to use his speed and burst to create his own downhill advantages, he is going to make the right pass or play almost every single time. Closes the first half with 21 points. That second quarter, he has 17, totally erupting, 0 turnovers, actually a steal, 5 for 6, including 2 for 3. Kawhi being the steady hand, very opportunistic in transition / around the rim. The breed of superstar that can actually still deliver such great consistent value defensively. No one else in the top 7 of the NBA that can really turn it on the defensive end and purely dominate in that fashion. Besides Giannis, strikes of lightning on Jamal Murray and whoever else, where he can steal inbounds passes and just strip you at half court. Next, the Nico Batum game all of us have been waiting for. In my opinion, this is the Derek White or maybe Al Horford, probably the closest facsimile of the Western Conference. How Nick Batum was not a San Antonio Spur at some point kind of blows my mind. Every time I watch him, I just feel like he is a Popovich protege, prototype type of player. On ball, off ball, him and Derek White were like roommates back in San Antonio or something. I don't know. Probably the best quadruple. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how to say 5 in a noun form. Quintuple. Probably the best one of those in playoff history. Well, Draymond's probably had a better one, but 6 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. The second highest plus minus of the game with plus 11. Only Kawhi is higher with plus 14. Nico gets a lot of burn with 34 minutes, doing so well in the first half. He gets the start in the second, and Ty Lue quickly realizes that he might be a key to really, 1, bothering Jokic on the defensive end, but 2, providing that quick twitch connective tissue offensively, which he surely did. Starting with defense, Nico Batum now leads the whole fucking series in blocks, and I bet you any money that 99% of people watching this series would not even come close to guessing. I swear to God, he has 4 absolutely deflating blocks on Nikola Jokic alone in this series, and virtually all of them in totality have been really nothing but effort plays that are chase downs and unexpected, like, holy shit, I can't believe that guy actually got there type of plays, adding a little bit of salt into the wound that is these plays, providing that connective passing offensively, including probably the biggest shot of the game, the side bounce pass automatic to the Norm Powell corner 3 that pushes the Clippers lead from 107 to 101 with 1:47 left, pushes it to 110 to 101, and goddamn, the quickness of that sort of decision making is incredible. All the credit to Norm as well for doing the up fake, staying focused and poised in that moment. Likely doesn't make that shot or gets Jamal off his feet without that immediate quick twitch flip to the side, and that is all. that Norm needs. Other LA role guys also had their moments. Mention Norm Powell, 24 points, including 11 on 5 of 6 field goals in Q3. He was a huge amplifier and enabler in that third quarter avalanche for the Clippers. And the thing with Norm, he has a rare, universally admired story and place in the NBA. 6 Man of the Year campaigns in perpetuity comes in this year with Kawhi obviously not playing until very late. Puts up a qualifying all-star type season. No shot he's going to get the shine and the buzz that he deserves. Kawhi, of course, comes back and is really fucking good. Newsflash. And so Norm, in turn, has to toggle back to the tertiary scorer role. Just feel like I love to see Norm kind of shine. He clearly has, 1, earned it, but 2, has shown that he has the potential to go off like this and really spurred the Intuit Dome tide, pressing the foot on the Nuggets next. Derrick Jones Jr. starting 0 for 4 from 3 in the first half. I actually tweeted he needed to stop fucking shooting the ball. I don't know if Ty Lue was just telling him to keep shooting through these open threes, but comes into the second half going 2 for 2, 1 in each quarter, and Stan Van Gundy flagged on the broadcast, putting a ton of pressure on the offensive glass. All of that offensive rebounding pressure with his physical gifts is a really, really smart tactical move to make and priority to give him. Ivica Zubac, it's really hard to not talk about him pretty much every time. The scoring and rebounding is not going to look great, 10.6 boards, but 3 blocks, and really the ability to defend Nikola Jokic, the best player on earth, without fouling and enabling the rest of the Clippers' defensive infrastructure to remain intact because of how sound his individual defense on Jokic is. That is the source of so much of Jokic's bind he puts other teams in, is his ability to dominate one-on-one, get near the post, and draw extra help. That is how you create organic advantages. It's pretty much impossible to quantify this, but that is a deafening theme of this series that I really think unlocks the LA Clippers' ability to match up well with the Nuggets. Moving along to the Nuggets now, we have Jamal Murray starting strong and then going pretty invisible for far too long. Scores 12 points in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, and then his next basket wasn't until just under 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. I was giving him flowers on Twitter for the way he was toggling between aggressive and not aggressive in that first quarter and overall first half, but it is a telltale sign I think about a lot for who's a star, who is a superstar, is when your team is getting fucking romped, especially on the road and especially in high stakes playoff moments. Who is the guy that is going to step up and stop the bleeding and take a charge, get to the free throw line, slow the momentum down? It sure as hell was not Jamal Murray in that third quarter. Glaring reason of why he is such a conundrum after absolutely going supernova in the previous game. Those are the type of radio silent stretches that hold him back, I think, in the minds of a lot of the NBA community. Christian Brown in that third quarter, he scores 10 points and hits 2 absolutely essential threes for the Nuggets, keeping them within striking distance. Only 2 of them, but holy shit, did they feel absolutely necessary for keeping the Clippers lassoed within striking distance as they ended that third quarter. I feel like Harden would have been able to milk the clock just like a dairy farmer in that fourth quarter. Obviously, he tried anyway, but without Brown's clutch as fuck wide open threes in that third. And speaking of that third quarter, this is about how it went. Jokic with 0 rebounds, playing all 12 minutes of the quarter. LA outscoring them in the paint 18-6. LA thus shooting 62% in the paint. I think it's worth noting Jokic gets his third foul earlier in the game. I actually want to say it was in the second quarter. Jokic gets his third personal foul 30 seconds into the third quarter, which is open season for the Clippers to attack him. This is the hallmark gift and a curse of having your center be your fulcrum and best player. Is he is supposed to be a rim deterrent simply as a matter of his role on the court. And if that guy is in foul trouble, that is not only going to potentially risk his offensive potency, but it's going to let some dudes waltz to the rim, and that is exactly what happened in that third after he gets his third foul. LA has 3 blocks, 2 steals. They double Denver's assists 10-5. Russell Westbrook in 5 minutes. That kind of sparking bench energy was not there. He finishes with 0 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists, and 0 field goal attempts in 5 minutes of that third. LA more than doubles Denver's rebounds, 11-4, and Jokic finishes going 1 for 5 from the field, leading the Nuggets in individual field goal attempts in playing all 12 minutes. So it was a 1-point game at halftime, and it ends with an 11-point Clipper lead going into the fourth. And again, I can't underscore enough how insanely huge those 2 threes by Christian Braun were to keep that 11-point lead within a manageable limit. So zooming out with Jokic, I think he just had very real issues cracking the Clipper defense, specifically in the second half, when they ramped up their tenacity. He goes 2 for 9 from the floor in the entirety of the second half. I think a lot of that has to be given credit primarily to Ivica Zubac doing the best job we've seen anybody do, inclusive of Karl Anthony Towns last year. What that allows for the Clippers in terms of being more physical with him, getting swipes on the ball as he's trying to wiggle and shuffle his way closer to the rim. It's just making those sorts of instantaneous crowds, double teams, triple teams, even easier because Jokic isn't able to get to the spots that he wants, and it's all such an uphill battle. To me, that is the formula, sort of, for really stopping the Nuggets, is having a burly center that knows how to not foul and one that can really hold his own ground with strength against Jokic to prevent needing to commit double, triple teams, and that unlocks the epitome of Jokic ball. The last thing I will say, there were 3 blown point-blank layups that the Nuggets had and still managed to score second chance points on. Stan Van Gundy made a huge stink about none of the Clippers running and sprinting back, assuming it was going to be a quick bucket, and while he is completely correct, I think the fact that these layups were completely blown deserves as much, if not more, scrutiny. Because in a game when you are entering the fourth quarter down double digits, those are absolutely inexcusable mistakes from Watson, Russ, and then I believe Aaron Gordon too. It might have been 2 from Russell Westbrook, but they didn't deserve to get those second chance points to still score on 2 of those 3. I guess it just goes to show the power of the wall and into a dome in the moment. You gotta make these uncontested, point blank, untouched layups, similar to Bogdanovich and Derek Jones really bricking 3 after 3 after 3 after being completely wide open. But there is way less, pretty much a non-existent excuse for blowing absolutely point blank layups. And so people talk about, if that, if not, if whatever. I just kept thinking Christian Braun shooting 20-something% from 3, to have him go 2 for 2 in that third quarter to keep it close, and then also end up scoring 4 extra points on completely botched and undeserving layups. Maybe that matters too. Game 7 is going to be magical. A complete toss-up to me. I think it's going to come down to the shoulders of these stars. I mean, as expected, James Harden, can he shake his playoff demons? Kawhi Leonard, can he go Terminator mode again like we saw in Game 2? And can Nikola Jokic dominate in his spots, the short mid-range region, against Ivica Zubac, especially if Zubac isn't tasked with having to slave and exhaust himself for getting offensive rebounds and everything else, if Batum and Norm Powell are able to carry the scoring load with the two stars. Can Jamal Murray wake the fuck up and not have these glaring, patchy, grandiose stretches of great offense and commanding pressure? And can the hobble Michael Porter Jr. / Aaron Gordon / Russell Westbrook actually meaningfully and consistently contribute on the offensive end without Jokic utterly exhausting himself in order to give them a chance to win? I want to lean Denver just because of the pedigree, but there is something to be said about the toughness and underdog mantra the Clippers have been playing with. They're a hilariously cursed franchise and haven't been healthy in forever. I kind of feel like Kawhi's going to go down swinging, and ultimately, is Christian Brown going to be able to slow him down, and is Zubac going to be able to slow down Nikola Jokic? It quite literally might be that simple.